Hi, Bruce.
Hi.
How's it?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Tell us about yourself, bro.
Well, my name is Bruce. Bruce Ngobandlo. I run a business. I run a photography business, Bruce Vega. We take photos of events, and we have framed work that we also make available for purchase. So we're a photography company. Yeah.
So, if I want to start a photography company and I'm inspired by Bruce Lomo, what would be your advice?
Get started. Start as soon as you can. Really, there's not much to getting started. At the rate that photography equipment is being made, it's also getting cheaper. So you can get some good cameras at really good prices. And you can also train using that now gotten equipment to get better. And as you get better, you will then get more equipment. So, yeah.
Yeah, but cheaper is a subjective notion. You'll find that cheap to me means 1,000 rand, 500, and then I go to the store, I find that the DSLR, a starter DSLR cost around 6,000, and I don't have that much.
Well, the way to think about it then, if you don't have that much then, is that you don't have that much for now. So you then have your work cut out for you to actually put money away. And also, I always advise people who are starting that instead of going out and getting a brand new camera, you should get yourself a second-hand camera to see if you really like doing this, you know? Because what you don't want to do also is to spend a shit ton of money on equipment that you will find out that you're not really interested in like 6 months' time, which then would be a waste of money, because reselling it means that you need to cut the prices. So yeah, you're sitting at a good 3 to 4 K on a second-hand crop sensor DSLR.
What got you into photography?
There is no one answer. I don't think that there is that one thing, you know? I don't remember that one thing. But we've always liked to take photos, because when we started, there was 2 of us and a friend of mine, Michael. We would take photos with our phones, and we'd have a blast taking pictures of school events on our phones, and we'd review the images later until we actually started taking photos and charging people for those photos. And that's where we got into business together. Then that relationship fell out, and there came Bruce Vega. Yeah, there's no one moment. It's a ton of moments. It's a ton of moments.
What are challenges of being in a partnership?
We don't agree. We don't always agree on basic things. I think some things that would seem like a no-brainer to me will not really be a no-brainer to the next person. So you'd find that we're now arguing over marketing techniques. Come on, I'm good at that. Let me shine at that. Handle something else, you know? And in most cases, really, it's we have different sets of values and different belief systems. I think that then influences how we make decisions on a business scale. Because yeah, we fundamentally believe in different things. So your right and my wrong could be the same thing. So yeah, that's one of the things that hinder partnerships. There's a ton of other things.
What are the challenges of running a company, a photography company?
Well, it would come with the time in which we're running the business, you know. We often find people who say that, why would I want to hire a professional photographer when I can use my phone? We have technology that is really good at making pictures seem the same quality as photography professional photos. So that's one of the things that we actually need to talk about. However, it's a really technical discussion that you don't want to have with the person who thinks that an iPhone is better than a camera. It's an insanely technical discussion that you really don't want to have. But that's one of the challenges that I think a lot of people are going to face who are starting photography businesses. You need to be able to produce the highest possible quality of images that your customers have no doubt that it is necessary to book you. Otherwise, if you are still competing with iPhone users and your work can even be put on the same plane to be compared with iPhone users, then you might struggle with getting good customers that are willing to pay what you're asking them to pay.
Good point. Can you tell us how COVID affected you? Because a lot of people were having issues around COVID time, and a lot of businesses closed down, and a lot of people lost their jobs. How did that affect Bruce Vega?
As a business, we experienced both the negative and the positive part of it, in the sense that we got to learn that we need to have cash reserves because anything might happen. And we also got to learn that some other photographers actually were shooting the empty streets, so that market was actually open during the lockdown. So the pictures that you are seeing on the news of empty streets, someone was shooting that, and we didn't recognize that market beforehand, and we couldn't act on it when it was time to act on it. But that was an open market also. Of course, as far as the negative is concerned, was the fact that most of our funding comes from our clients, and we can't meet those people. And we can't see those people. We can barely even shake their hands. If you understand that, then we were screwed in that way. We stayed quite a while without any money flowing in the business. So that sucked.
Can you take us through the struggles of building a business?
The overall struggles, or the
overall? The overall struggles.
Because daily we have the self-doubt that kicks in. As an entrepreneur in a startup where you are possibly the only person responsible for this baby, there'll always be this voice in your head that asks you every day, am I good enough to make this happen? Can I possibly make this happen? And then there's another voice that says, who the fuck do you think you are? How dare you think you can make this happen? So now it's a consistent battle between you and you to convince yourself that I'm actually good enough for this and I can make this happen. In fact, I am making this happen. Now, generally, it takes a while for people to take you seriously. And in business, it's not man and machine, it's you dealing with people. So to understand people also is a skill that you may need to work on. And can you connect with people on a people basis? And I say this because I've only recently gotten the hang of it, surprisingly. I thought I was good at people, funny guy. But it took a while for me personally to get the hang of the fact that you're dealing with people. So connect with people on a human level. If you can do that, then your business, social life will work. Then there's the technical aspect of it. Study up. Know what's happening in the tech world, especially in the photography industry. It is so intertwined with the tech world, you cannot separate the two. It's ignorant to think that you can do that now in the digital age, when Kodak couldn't do it when they tried to stand their ground against digital photography. So always have an idea about what's happening in the tech world and the new gadgets that are out, and look at that as a way to push your business forward. How can I use that new Alienware computer with 2 processors to enhance my editing speed? See, that kind of thing. And also be aware of what's happening in other industries that are not directly related to your industry, because they affect your industry in a way. And if you are able to foresee some of these things, then you're in a good place to make good decisions and look after your business and make sure that you push the high numbers. that was the insight on other industries. And oh yes, mentors, very important. Understanding that you're not the very best in the game is a favor that you can do to yourself. It's not necessarily putting yourself down and saying that, oh, I'm not good enough. Well, you're not good enough now. If you follow people that are titans in your industry and you see what they're doing and you analyze their patterns consistently, and you make friends with some people that are better than you in doing certain things. For example, I run a photography business, right? I know a guy who's better at taking photos than me. He doesn't run a successful company that is half as successful as mine, but his photos are fire. Now, what's my next move? I do not then sit on a high horse and say that, well, if he was so good, then his business would be doing so well. What I do instead is I get in touch with him. I say, hey, how do you shoot this shot? Let me follow you to a gig. So I'd go to a gig and I'd get paid what an assistant would get paid. I'm a pro. I'm a full-blown pro with the business, yeah, but then I do that so that I can learn. And in that learning, my skill goes up, therefore the value of the business itself now goes up. So mentors, follow these guys, make friends with them. Most of them are really nice guys. Photographers are generally nice people. Some of the kindest people in the world. In fact, I think we're rated number 2 in the world's funniest people, right up there under comedians. So yeah, that's it for now, I guess.
So what would you say to an introvert? Remember you spoke about having good interpersonal skills as a photographer or as a business person.
Yeah.
What would you say to an introvert? I'm an introvert, I like my own space, I like being indoors, but I still want to have a business.
If you are an introvert who would like to have a business that is to do with people, don't. And I say this from the bottom of my loving heart, that in as much as there are nice people in the world that you will have to deal with, there are also nasty people. Yeah? Some people are terrible people to deal with socially. They'll just make your life a living hell for no reason that you know. But it's very likely that they are having a bad day and now they are taking it out on you. Now, if you are such a person that you cannot handle good social relations, what then when you are faced with terrible conditions socially? How do you think you're gonna react to that? Now, I did say that it's a skill, so this means that you can learn it. And this is not in a dry, manipulative, malicious way, but you can become such a person that is socially magnetic to good people, and good people will find you and they'll be willing to do business with you organically. And I'm reading a book actually. If you're an introvert, you can get that book and it'll basically coach you on how to handle people as such. It's How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I haven't finished it, but it's a really good guide to the social life of a business person. It gives you examples of some of the most successful presidents and how they could do it socially and what it took for them socially to influence so much people. Yeah, I'd recommend that book.
What would you say to somebody who's looking at you right now and say, man, I love this guy, I want to invest in his business? What are your terms?
We're currently not talking equity at all. I don't think that we will be talking equity within the next 5 years. In this sense, I don't want to kid us and promise you heaven when I cannot be sure that I can deliver heaven to you. So in 5 years' time, possibly, hopefully less, when I say that equity is up for grabs, it's equity that is actually worth investing in. It's not a concept in my head, but it's a tried and tested system that's going to work. Now, my business model in its purest form is an intricate machine that consistently feeds itself organically, that's able to feed people and have people work and have, until I achieve that, I cannot possibly start talking equity. because I haven't done enough. We're still at the infancy of our lifespan. We haven't gotten there yet. See?
Before you mentioned the competition between iPhone and a DSLR. If right now I'm struggling to compete with an iPhone and I have photographic equipment, what would be your advice? What should I do in order to gain that skill that showcases the difference between an actual photographer and somebody with an iPhone?
Okay, so as we may have mentioned just earlier, we say that you are to follow people who are doing better than you, so you can learn from them. And following is, you can do that on social media, and you can do that with people that you know. If you don't know any people, there are certain gatherings where you actually find such people at art galleries, at art conventions, at exhibitions. Attend those. Get in touch with some people that can help you advance. Most of them are willing. They are more than, in fact, I've never met a veteran. We call them veterans, these old guys with a shit ton of cameras and a shit ton of experience to draw from, that are not willing to teach. I think that towards the end of every photographer's career, what they really want to do is teach. So be that person that wants to learn. And if you feel that you are losing interest, you can sell your equipment to Bruce Vega.
Okay, this is a bit of a sensitive question. Would you say photography is a sustainable career? Can I feed myself, feed my family, and whatnot? Do you think there's a good market for
objectively speaking, without taking any sides or being biased, you need a certain amount of balls to get into the photography space, firstly, as a professional. Because when you start out, the money is not going to be there. It's going to be dry as hell. You might even have to do some work and not get paid. And as far as the sustainability is concerned, at that point, it doesn't seem to be there. But what we're working out at Bruce Vega is a way in which we are continuously available in the market, such that our photographers are consistently getting gigs and always making money. How? We introduced omnipresence some time back, where we say that we will not turn down a gig because we are, what's the term, short-staffed or under-equipped. But what we say is that we will train our own people to be able to shoot, and then should we so happen to be triple booked on the exact same day, we have the resources to allocate to each shoot and to do those shoots successfully. We've been doing that for a while now, and that's where we get this confidence to say that we are omnipresent. That has never been done in the photography space in a while. And why it hasn't been done is because most photography businesses are main character based. There's one guy with exceptional skill, and then the whole company is then built around that person and that ability to shoot. When instead, that skill could be decentralized into many people, and the quality remains the same, and the product is pushed into the market. Sort of how we put Toyotas on the street, So as far as sustainability is concerned, Bruce Vega will be here for a while, for a very long while, long after I've died, long after a lot of people who are watching the first upload of this video have died, because we are actually addressing that. That's where the gap is. That's what we are doing in the space.
Good point. You mentioned that there are times where you take free gigs.
Yes.
A lot of people feel that being exploited, especially creatives, that I can't do work for free. What would you say to a creative who will never take a free gig? Especially when they're starting out.
When the truth is, when you're starting out, you need to be exposed to the market. You need also the experience, because you're not half as good as you think you are. for the fact that you're still in such a position. It means that you're not as good as you think you are. So to be as good as you think you are now means that you have actually have to do the work. You need to have the inventory of work. You need to have the failed experiences. Now, where does that come from? Because I don't see anybody who's willing to line up so much money to buy a service from a beginner photographer, when in fact there are pro photographers who are willing to pay certain amounts of money or just supply training to beginners, and you are so proud that you wouldn't take that because you feel that you're being exploited when you don't have the track record or the inventory of work. If you have the inventory of work, fully, I agree, you should be paid for what you do because you have a track record, you know what you're doing. But if all you have is your idea that you can do the work and you don't have the work to show for it, or the people that say that you have done the work for them, then I think that you are basically shooting yourself in the foot when you could be learning and getting better. Because honestly, in our heads, we are all the best, but the objective truth is that we're not. There is a reason why you're in a position where you are negotiating funds. You're not the best that you think you are. And if you are the best, you won't be negotiating funds. In fact, they'll double pay you. They'll tip on top of that. So that's basically where it's standing. There's a good amount of exploitation that's gonna happen between the transition period from beginner to pro. That period will come, absolutely, I agree. But then at the beginner stage, thou shalt do the work. And most of the work that you are gonna do is not gonna be paid work. It's gonna be skill enhancement work.
Great.
We all do it.
So there is a bit of a sensitive scene where photographers are expected to take nudes.
Oh.
So how do you feel about that subject? Do you feel like you're gonna be disrespecting your partner or your wife or whoever is in your life should a lady come and say, can I hire Bruce Vega to come and take nudes?
I don't think that it has much to do with disrespect, because I don't think it's personal. I don't think that it's a personal thing. We all, you know how you behave in private, right? So if you're a photographer that tends to mess around with clients, you know yourself, then I'd advise you not to keep doing that. But then if you're a pro and you are known for that kind of work, then you're absolutely, I don't think it comes from a point of disrespect, but it comes from the fact that you are really good at shooting those kind of pictures. So now with Bruce Vega, we have people that shoot that. Then we have people that shoot products. Then we have people that shoot people. Then we have people that shoot certain things. Now, this works for us in that manner. So the ill-minded pervert will shoot plants instead of nudes. And then the pro, who shoots boudoir, as commonly called, will then shoot boudoir. But I don't think it stems from a point of any kind of disrespect, especially knowing that the person is a pro and they have the track record to show for it. See?
Awesome. So your services, how do you rate?
Okay, so at the basic level, we charge based on time. So we allocate services based on time. So an hour at Bruce Vega is gonna cost 600 Rand for the longest time. That's what it's gonna cost. At first though, we were charging 200 Rand, because remember that awkward conversation we just had about starting out and having the track record? Yeah, we were asking for 200 Rand for an hour. And at the time, it was okay. And then after we did the work and we had the track record for it and we upgraded the equipment, we asked for 600 Rand an hour. And this is on selected kinds of photo shoot. Now, a basic photo shoot, me coming to your place, on your couch, blah, 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 bringing just lighting equipment, yeah, that's 600 Rand an hour. However, for certain events, weddings, we don't start shooting unless we have covered 6,000 Rand. So that's where we start talking at weddings. And with the 6,000 Rand, you don't get videography. What you get is just digital photos that are edited to crisp quality, but no less than 6,000 Rand.
Do you do videography though?
We do. There's a separate team of people who do that. It's not the same people that shoot photos, also shoot videos. So we have a team of videographers and a team of photographers. Now we recently got a drone videographer, so we're very excited about that. And we've been doing a couple of shoots with Jay, and he is awesome. So it's branches and people allocated to do work.
What separates you from other photographic companies?
We will be here in 100 years' time. Absolutely.
And the service right now, the product?
Our product is...
Do you feel like it stands out?
Currently in the market, yes it does, but can it be better? Absolutely. We're always driving for the next way to improve the service, to improve the product. The clients we've had since we started, we still have, but then they continue to be more refined. So now we are also getting celebrities and such, and I like that about the business because it keeps growing without losing the core roots of the business, the people that we started with. And
so it's possible to get a revolving customer, like somebody who comes all the time?
Yes, I've had quite a few of those. As a matter of fact, I even have a customer that has brought me more than 10 customers from her family line and relatives. And when I'm at one of their events and she's there, you know what she does? She's a very special lady. She introduces me and says, hi, this is Bruce, this is my photographer. I'll give you his number and you can use him. Yeah, which is awesome. I'm very fortunate to have met such a person, and we've had quite a few comeback clients that do come back. But one of our most favorites is Anati. He is now a UJ alumni, and we've been doing a ton of shoots with him. Love him, he's a superstar.
What are you looking to do in the coming 5 years as Bruce Vega? What should we expect from the company?
We are expecting, optimistically, as a business, we want it to be very hard not to see our work. You know how hard it is to wake up and not see a Nike product? Or a Toyota car? So when you drive around, that's how hard it is gonna be not to see our work. So from billboard product work to celebrity column magazines and all of that, that's what we're doing. We are closing the space. And remember I said we will be here in 100 years' time? So at such a time, whenever somebody thinks, I need to take a picture of that, you know who they're gonna be thinking about? Bruce Vega. That's what we're doing.
If somebody wants to work with you or work for you, what are you looking for in talent?
We, in terms of photographers, I personally talk to people that shoot specific things. Because I met a guy, Percy. He shoots products like a monster. Nobody shoots products like that guy. And that's what he is for in the business. So I know for a fact that when there's a product that needs to be shot, I know exactly who I'm calling. So now, as far as new talent is concerned, one must know what they're shooting, and that special idea of what they're shooting comes with experience because they've shot a ton of things and they're now focusing on that. Of course, there are some of these guys I'm training barely didn't know how to even hold a camera when we started, but now they're doing good work. The guys that do come in and they are already established and they have their own track record and they want to join into the team, that's what I require. What do you shoot? What am I calling you in for? What's the signature thing that you're doing that is so amazing that nobody else can do? That's what I'm looking for in terms of talent.